taste for terror. You have a date with Carrie.
Welcome back. I'm Pat, that Halloween movie collector, and this week's 70s movie review is going to be another favorite of mine from the 70s, 1976, Carrie, based on the novelization by Stephen King, directed by Brian DePalma. Now, this movie was groundbreaking. I mean, it was just unbelievable. The performances from both Sissy Spacek and Piper Laurie, both nominated for Academy Awards. They didn't win, but they were both nominated, which, you know, is always a rare occurrence when a not Halloween movie, a horror movie has any type of involvement in the Academy Awards. It's a rare occurrence. And it tells the story of Carrie White, who's like this shy, innocent 16-year-old girl who lives with this overbearing religious mother who's just pretty much out of her mind at this point. And she's just tormented and teased at school. I mean, it's a typical story of bullying. I mean, bullying is still prevalent in some high schools. Believe me, I have kids. Well, I still have one kid left in high school. As much as you think it's finally done and over with, it still goes on to a degree. And with social media nowadays, it's even worse in some respects. But she's bullied, and there's a group of girls that kind of tease her, and it just basically she finds out little by little that she has these telekinetic powers, and from beginning to end, she starts to study them a little bit more. And then there's a girl that's trying to do something nice for her, and have her go to the prom with her boyfriend, and it just turns into one of the most iconic scenes in horror history or cinema history. So that's basically how it plays out. But let's start it. So it tells the story of 16-year-old Carrie White, blonde, played by Sissy Spacek, who is just basically a very shy, introverted girl, coming from this overbearing religious mother, no father. And she's goes to school, and she's the creepy girl and the one that nobody talks to. And one day she's very naive. So they're in the showers and after gym class, and unbeknownst to her, she starts bleeding. Doesn't realize she's just got her period for the first time. And this whole scene plays out where they're throwing tampons and saying, plug it up. And of course, the gym teacher, Miss Collins, played by Betty Buckley, comes in, rescues her, and she sort of babies her. Not babies is probably a bad word. Embraces her and sort of helps her out. She's looking to get back at Carrie White, rather. So when Carrie goes home and tells her mother what happened, and she's saying menstruation's from the devil, and she has like this prayer closet that she locks her in with one of the most creepy crosses with these menacing eyes on Jesus. It's just the scariest thing. That's to me, when I first saw this, that was the scariest thing, was that cross. It used to give me because growing up in a Catholic family, going to Catholic school, that cross always scared the crap out of me. So Sue Snell, played by Amy Irving, asked her boyfriend, who was played by William Catt, Tommy Ross, to ask Carrie to the prom. Try to bring her out of her shell. Hopefully she'd blossom, and maybe she wouldn't be such an introvert. So, of course, she's saying, no, why do you want to ask me? She's just thinking it's another plot to make her look stupid and make fun of her. And even the gym teacher even gets involved and says, why are you doing this? Is this? And she's like, no, I'm just trying to help her. But there's so many times that there's been ulterior motives where people, bullied her and teased her. She just doesn't believe them. But she had all the best of intentions, and eventually Tommy Ross shows up at the house, and Carrie's house, and finally convinces her. And she says, okay, fine, just go away before my mother comes home. Because she knows her mother would freak out seeing her talk to another boy. And of course she tells the mom, and the mom's like, no, they're all going to laugh at you. There's just another ruse let's go pray, because she's just overbearing. Meanwhile, the biggest instigator, Chris Hargensen, played by Nancy Allen, talks to her, arranges this whole ruse, this whole revenge plan with her boyfriend, played by John Travolta, Billy Nolan, and they go to this farm where they're going to get a bunch of pig's blood, and then they're going to rig the election so that she would become prom queen. So when she's standing up in front of the entire class in school, they're going to pour this big bucket of pig's blood on her. So that all plays out behind it, and she's looking forward to going, and the mother's just twitching and flipping out, doesn't want her to go. So finally it comes the day of the prom. She's all dressed up and she's looking, and the mother's, having like a breakdown, and she basically tells, her mother starts to see certain things in her as far as the telekinetic powers, because she starts to realize she has these telekinetic powers, telling the mother, "I'm going, Mom." And so she goes to prom with Tommy, and things seem to be okay. People are like, "Wow, Carrie White," because she's all done up. She's got this nice dress. She looks beautiful. So little by little, she's almost coming out of her shell, because she's talking, and she, Tommy Ross convinces her to dance, and they do some dancing, and you're finally seeing this pretty young girl come out of her shell, because she's been tormented by not only her family, but by all these freaking asshole kids at school. So one of Chris's friends, played by our beloved PJ Souls from Halloween, and this was the role that John Carpenter saw her in and plucked her to play Linda Vanderklok in the original Halloween because of her role in Carrie. And she plays Norma Watson, and so she's the one going around taking all the ballots. And before this, they're sitting there, and Tommy's telling her, "Okay, who should we vote for prom king and queen?" And he's like, "Let's vote for us." And she's like, "No, we can't do that." Finally convinces her, and they vote for themselves. But she's collecting all the ballots, and she's just going to rig it anyway because she's in on the plot. So they come to the point where they announce, and of course it's Carrie White. So she is prom queen, so she goes up there, and underneath the stage you see Nancy Allen and John Travolta, and just as they, she's up there smiling, and they're taking pictures, she dumps the bucket of blood, and it goes all over Sissy Spacek. Well, all over Carrie White. And what ensues is absolute mayhem, and one of the most iconic scenes in horror history. She loses her shit. And meanwhile, before this, you had Amy Irving running, Chris Harkinson running, because she wanted to go there and see her, but she saw them under there, and she knew something was up. She looked up, and she saw the bucket, and she's seen the rope moving. So she's running, and the gym teacher is... Miss Collins is trying to stop her because she thinks she's going to do something bad, so she locks her out. But meanwhile, Carrie loses her shit, uses all the telekinetic powers. She's got fire hoses going. She's got fire going. She's got doors closing. She's got bleachers opening and closing and killing people. It's just absolute bedlam and mayhem. And she eventually walks out, and she goes home, and she goes into the house, and she cleans herself all up. Actually, even before this, she does come across John Travolta and Nancy Allen and kill them. So then she gets home, and she's going upstairs to bathe herself and get all this blood off of her. And the mother's coming and told her, I knew this was happening. And so the mother is coming to the conclusion that she's like the spawn of the devil. Like she was like this evil entity. Because she always thought she was this unholy thing because she never wanted to get pregnant, and she had the baby. She actually admits that Carrie was conceived with her husband, who was drunk, and she felt that she had been betraying God because she actually enjoyed the act of it, and always felt that she was a punishment for that. And now with all these powers that she has, these telekinetic powers that she's seeing in her, she's thinking this is like sent from the devil to punish her. So she comes, and she's what you think is consoling Carrie, but she pulls out a knife and stabs her in the back because she wants to kill her, thinking that she's like this evil entity. Carrie then uses her telekinetic powers and has a knife that's on a knife holder on the knife rack on the wall, and throws it at her mother, and it pierces her hand. It sticks her to the wall. Then she has these other sharp objects that hit her in the stomach, and all other knives, and another one hits her on the other hand, and basically crucify her against the wall. And then, of course, she breaks down because she killed her mother, so she takes her down, and then basically the whole house just crumbles around, and because she just wants to die, it all crumbles, and it all goes down into the ground, and then it flashes to Amy Irving, because she's just distraught at what she saw, because not only did like all her friends get killed, her boyfriend got killed. When that bucket hit, it hit Tommy Ross in the head, and he's laying on the ground, so you're assuming he's dead, but I'm sure he perished in that, and it's just understood that he died. So lost a boyfriend, all her friends, watched this whole thing ensue at school, and basically had to feel a lot of sense of guilt because she was the one that pushed her to even go to this prom. Not that she hatched this plan, but of course there's going to be some type of guilt. So then it flashes to a scene where she's going to Carrie White's grave, and just as she's going to lay the flowers, a hand comes up and grabs her, and then she wakes up. And it's like a nightmare because she's having all these nightmares, and that's how it ends. See, I've never read the novelization to compare the two to see what's there and what's not. From what I understood, this was a pretty well. This was pretty true to the novelization. So that's what I've heard. I have never read the novelization. One of these days, we do a thing on this channel called The Book Club where we're doing the Halloween books right now, the novelizations one by one, and then we thought we'd go into other horror movies, and I'm probably going to add this one to the list because I like to read this novelization, as well as some of the other great horror movies that were adapted from Stephen King books, like, of course, The Shining, Christine. There's a bunch of them I'd love to go back and do. Misery, read the actual novelizations because I've never read them. So that would be something cool to do later on. But this movie scared me when I was a kid. I always wanted to. So many great lines in here too, where you see the little kid riding on the bike and he's teasing Carrie. She's going home. He's going, creepy Carrie, and she turns, uses her powers, and knocks him off the bicycle. One of the iconic scenes, of course, the whole scene at the end, where as this is happening to her, all the blood's on her, and she's in front of all these people, and she's embarrassed. She starts thinking. In her head, she hears the mother's voice playing over and over. They're all going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you.
They're all going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you.
And I use that line more often than anything. I'm like, they're all going to laugh at you. So it's just some iconic lines. And it's a really stacked cast. Now, mind you, at the time, they weren't big popular stars at the time. They all became stars. You know, John Travolta. Yeah, he was in Welcome Back, Kotter, and I think there was a movie before, which I can't remember the name of it. I should have looked it up. So he was not this breakout hit yet. Not until Saturday Night Fever and Grease exploded. And Nancy Allen eventually went on to do a couple more movies. Actually, even another movie with John Travolta, Blowout, a couple of years later, which I love too. Another Brian DePalma film. And of course, PJ Souls went on to Halloween. And she's iconic as far as you can see, for me. So she went on to do Halloween. Let's see who else was in there that went on to bigger and better things. Oh, William Cadd went on. Well, he was in one of my favorite movies from the 80s, House. But he went on to do The Greatest American Hero TV show. They all did ascend to other things. And actually, if I do remember correctly, I think Edie McClurg actually makes an appearance in this too. For those that don't know Edie McClurg, she's been in a bunch of stuff, but she was famously the secretary in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ferris Bueller, yeah, they all think he's a righteous dude. She's been in a bunch of stuff, so I'm pretty sure I remember her being in this film too. So this film I saw probably maybe early 80s, and I loved it. I just thought it was such a great movie. I saw it more because I wanted to go back and see it because PJ Souls was in it. I like John Travolta, but I was never this big John Travolta fan, but I knew that PJ Souls was plucked from that, so I'm like, oh, I got to go back and watch this, and loved it. And to me, it's aged very, very well. It's still a very good, effective horror film. You can still watch it today and enjoy it. You can obviously tell it's from the 70s, because 70s always had this certain look. I don't know what it was. Whatever kind of like tungsten lighting or something like that they call it. I'm no freaking director, but it always has that look. And that's what I love about 70s films. That's why I love Halloween too. But it's very effective. They did do a remake. Jeez, the remake is probably about almost 10 years old now too, I guess, with Chloe Grace Moretz. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. And I actually enjoyed the remake. I didn't think it was all that bad. It was a lot of fun. Just my opinion. You can trace it back to the Halloween films because the gym teacher is played by Judy Greer, who was just in Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills as Laurie Strode's daughter. So she played the Miss Collins in the remake. But the remake, I thought it was pretty good. It was, of course, the kills were amped up a little bit more because it's a modern age, but I thought it was okay. I don't know why I got a lot of shit. Was it better than the original? Hell no. But still, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a fun watch. So with that being said, on here I give out smiley faces, 1 to 5. I would say Carrie for me would be a good 3.5. Yeah, I like it, and that doesn't just because it's 3.5, because I'm giving movies that are my all-time favorites, 4.5s, And so this, for 3.5 smiley faces, is a pretty good ranking. So that's what I go. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Especially you hardcore horror fans. If you haven't seen Carrie, you need to go see it. It's very, very fun, effective horror film, and you'll definitely enjoy it. So there you have it. That's this week's That 70s movie review. I'll be back next week with another movie review of the 70s. I'm going to start doing some 80s reviews, 90s reviews, and other decades because there's some other films I'd like to do too. So that's going to be coming along here or there, and whenever I can find the goddamn time to do it. My job, this whole work thing actually just gets in the way. It's annoying as hell. But got to pay the bills. So I'll be back next week with one. Make sure you like this video. Helps people find everything. If you like horror content, you like music, movies, if you like Kiss, I'm a big Kiss fan. There's a bunch of decent Kiss content on here now. Probably be some more coming in the future. If you love collectibles, Halloween especially, come check us out on our weekly podcast, so that horror movie podcast, every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we do watch-alongs on Tuesday nights, that live movie watch-along. So that's always fun on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. And just a lot of fun shit here. So check out the rest of the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. Doesn't hurt anything. Doesn't cost anything. Hit the button. Helps a brother out. And until then, until next week's review, I'll talk to you soon.